All right, welcome in, everybody. We appreciate you joining us here on another edition of Smack Talk here on Sportskeeda Wrestling, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I am Ucchino. That is Denise Salcedo. I am completely jacked up right now, mostly because I've been drinking nothing but Diet Coke since 6 o'clock just to stay awake for this. This has been a really, really long week for me. I desperately needed this show tonight. Denise, this show banged. Like, I think from start to yes, even the finish, and I know you're going to disagree with me on this one. This show was awesome. This is SmackDown's been putting on good shows. I think this is the best one that they've put on in quite some time. I genuinely enjoyed it. I know we're going to disagree on the ending, and that is fine because once again, I'll tell you why you're wrong. But go ahead and then give me your recap, your overall thoughts on this SmackDown tonight.
All right. So first of all, I thought the SmackDown was good. The best way that I can put it was a delicious sundae, right? But it lacked the cherry on top. And we will get there with that finish. That finish was not a good ending to SmackDown. And I will fight you on this one, Rick.
That's fair. And that is fair. And you're not the only one. Joseph already weighing in. WTF was that?
You already lost, Rick. You can't even make an argument. Joseph Boza, with one sentence like WTF was that, already ended this argument for you. There's no defending those last couple of seconds. It really wasn't.
Vince is nuts since these crazy times. He's really questioning our intelligence, and tonight proved it. Man, I don't know. Man, I'm already getting dogged on this one. Stupidest ending ever. Horrible.
For once, Denise Salcedo, not the heel. I am in the right side here today. I win this one, Rick.
Philip said horrible show overall. I can't agree with that one at all. Let's see. Marcus already weighing in. Roman just proved he is the best heel. Plus, do you think Shinsuke turned face tonight? I absolutely think he did. And I want to just start right there. We'll get into Roman Reigns, but I think the story of the night, we'll talk about the ending, but I think the story of the night was Shinsuke Nakamura. Heading into this gauntlet match, when they announced, I think it was like 25 minutes before SmackDown tonight, they announced this gauntlet match and they announced all the competitors. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, well, Shinsuke doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be in this match, considering the last 2 weeks he's literally been pinned by Otis and then tapped out to Daniel Bryan last week. So he did absolutely nothing to earn his way into this matchup. But he was there. It was cool. All right. I like seeing Shinsuke Nakamura on my television screen. I didn't think we were going to get what we got tonight. This had a very Kofi Kingston-esque feel to it, that momentum builder, because this is a guy they've done nothing with since he lost the Intercontinental Championship. And now all of a sudden they put him in a number one contenders match and he beats Rey Mysterio, King Corbin, and Daniel Bryan clean and put on an absolute show to do it. It's almost like creative just went, oh yeah, we have Shinsuke Nakamura, like one of the best overall performers in the world, and we've been doing nothing with him. Maybe we should do something with this guy. It was such a joy to see. Like, just last week, I had finally given up hope. Like they were ever going to bring back the glory days of Shinsuke Nakamura back when he was NXT champion and when he won the Royal Rumble, and then they did absolutely nothing with him. I had literally given up hope. If anybody who had watched my good, bad, and ugly video last week here on the SK Wrestling YouTube channel, that was my ugly last week. I finally just gave up hope for Shinsuke Nakamura, and just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in, Denise. I'm back.
So then, Rick, you're saying all of these great things. So yes, why did you like the ending? Tell me. I'm confused.
I love the ending for one reason. Yes, would I have been ecstatic if Shinsuke Nakamura had won this matchup? Yes, I would. But that's not the story they're telling. The story this would have been the most random number one contender victory since Jinder Mahal. Okay, this would have been completely out of left field. I love how they built something with Shinsuke Nakamura, and they have laid the seeds now for Roman Reigns and Shinsuke Nakamura at some point, and maybe we still end up getting it at the Royal Rumble. We have several weeks until this is going, and we still have Adam Pearce, who's an authority figure who didn't even want to be in this matchup. But the storyline, and they set it up last week, it's Roman Reigns and Adam Pearce. That's the storyline. That's what was set up.
And that's dumb. It's so dumb, Rick. Adam Pearce was getting over people because he was just an authority figure. He wasn't part of the stories. He was just an authority figure, someone there to really just, make the matches, make some decisions, just be a voice, be a presence, someone to represent WWE, the corporate end of things. And so that's what it was. Why all of a sudden is this? I mean, this really wasn't the story up a couple of weeks ago. This was just recent. And if they wanted to keep it part of the story, okay, fine. Let's say you're not going to have Shinsuke Nakamura win. So then why not have Sami Zayn win? Sami Zayn would have been a great option for this because he has history with Kevin Owens. That is already tied in there. He could have gone in, had this match, and this could have helped extend their feud. This could have helped extend the Roman Reigns Kevin Owens feud all the way into WrestleMania, having Sami Zayn involved, helping him out instead of always seeing Kevin Owens, be outnumbered by Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. And the whole thing that they did with Shinsuke Nakamura, it's Shinsuke freaking Nakamura. All they really needed was a match like this, like the one that they had today, to really get him to the point where people are like, oh man, like, let's do this with Shinsuke. They could have, yeah, exactly. They could have literally had Shinsuke Nakamura win. Okay, that's it. Win. Roman Reigns come out, do a simple face-off, bam, close out the show. Tell me you would not have been super hyped for that. Heck, they could have done a beatdown next week. Perfectly fine. Whatever. But it would have been such a badass visual to have somebody that you did not expect to have this moment, have this opportunity against the biggest person in the company right now, Roman Reigns.
Yeah. See, okay, there's a lot to unpack there, Denise. So let me start with Sami.
What's the chat saying? I want to know what the chat is saying.
Oh man,
I'm livid today.
Let's see. Philip says, "Love you, Denise." On this one,
thank you. Finally,
it says the ending wasn't that bad, Denise, if you think about it, because Roman just did a heel thing by putting Adam in the match, and that's where
so dumb. And how does Roman get over? He doesn't get over in my eyes as a heel putting in Pierce. It's dumb.
It's not, because look, you talked about Adam Pearce was getting over, right, as an authority figure.
Yes, because he wasn't part of the storylines. We lost respect for him.
Right. He wasn't part of the storylines until he pissed off the wrong guy. Last week, he pissed off the wrong guy, and that made him part of the story. That brought him into the storyline, and Roman Reigns wants to teach him a lesson.
That's fine if you're 12 years old and you believe this. No, this was so dumb.
I disagree. Look, let's go back to the beginning of the night, right? Where Roman Reigns cuts that incredible promo on him. I know everybody was like dropping like the Godfather, type vibes. I totally got Pulp Fiction. Like I got Sam Jackson, like just looking at Brett and just reading him the riot act. Not like going overly insane, but just trying to like send him a message and scare the living crap out of him before he finally shoots the guy, right? Like that's what I was looking. I was waiting for Roman Reigns to just break into Ezekiel 25:17 at that point. That's the kind of vibe that I was getting. Have you seen Pulp Fiction, Denise?
No, I have not seen Pulp Fiction, but I know of Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. Pulp.
P-U-L-P.
Yeah.
Fiction.
I've heard of it, but I've never actually been interested.
All right, I'm giving you an assignment this week. You are to watch
Pulp
Fiction this week. It's a lot better than Joe Dirt. I'll tell you that much, okay?
I'm done taking recommendations. No, this is my weekend off.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time, Denise. Trust me on this one.
Okay.
But anywho, so Roman Reigns sent the message at the beginning of the night. He was just messing with the guy. And then he waited until the end of the night to pull the trigger. Roman Reigns shot Adam Pearce at the end of the show. Again, I'm analogy here. I'm tying it to Pulp Fiction. He shot him at the end of the show. I don't know what this ending is going to be. I'm not saying we're going to, who even knows if we're going to get Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Then what was the point of this whole thing? Why am I going to take anything seriously now? When WWE does any sort of tournament, any sort of stakes, why am I going to take it seriously if this is going to happen and then they're not going to get the match in the end? I mean, it's different because Adam is an authority figure. So he could take himself out of the matchup next week, presumably. I don't know. I don't know where his level of power is because Paul Heyman said he went and pulled some strings and somebody else put Adam Pearce in the match. So obviously there are varying degrees of officials backstage who can can make matches. So Adam Pearce isn't the only one, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. At least it's something different. I was expecting Kevin Owens' saga to continue into the Royal Rumble. We didn't see Kevin Owens tonight. He did not return since his dive off the stage last week. But I had this storyline the whole way. I was into it, and I'm interested to see where it's going to go. Would I rather have seen Shinsuke Nakamura win the match? Yes, but the storyline they were telling tonight made more sense for Adam Pearce to go over. And the way that they did it, it didn't make Shinsuke Nakamura look bad at all. This was Roman Reigns. Again, the biggest storyline for Roman Reigns for the past few months has been what? He does what he wants when he wants. And tonight, he wanted to send a message, and he wanted to berate and beat up Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce is his next target. He felt disrespected by Adam Pearce last week, so now he's trying to send a message to Adam Pearce, and he's going to make his life a living hell.
Rick, I have zero interest in this. And I will say this, a champion needs other contenders to elevate him as champion. I don't see Adam Pearce or a program with Adam Pearce elevating him in something that could have been done with Shinsuke Nakamura or Sami Zayn or hell, even, I don't even want to say this, but man, I would have even taken Baron Corbin. Now, maybe, God, you know what? You might have stumped me on that one. The point is that, I mean, it could have even been Rey Mysterio. How many times hasn't Rey Mysterio been put in the spot where he just gets absolutely killed, right? Tossed around like a rag doll by some big bad man. I mean, they could have literally... They had so many different options. They had the Sami Zayn route that I mentioned earlier. They had the Rey Mysterio route that I just mentioned. And obviously the one that we thought they were eventually going to go with or could have gone with after the good, performance tonight was definitely Shinsuke. Ruth Cleo Ellen is the reason why people are nuts.
Look, hey,
where are these people coming from?
I'm not the only one. All right,
y'all are crazy.
The only one. I'm not.
Y'all are crazy.
I'm a sucker for a good story, and they told a story tonight.
Okay, but they could have had a better story with the Shinsuke Nakamura route. They could have had a better story with the Sami Zayn route.
You're missing the big picture here. The big picture is they have set something up for Shinsuke Nakamura now. All of a sudden, Shinsuke Nakamura matters again. He turned face tonight. We saw that in the matchup. He would have not have shook Daniel Bryan's hand if he was still a heel. That was a face turn for him tonight. He now owes one to Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. So now all of a sudden he is mixing it up with the Universal Champion. That is going to get him a title shot down the line. I guarantee you we have a lot of weeks between now and WrestleMania, okay?
Exactly. So in a couple weeks, this is all going to be forgotten about, unfortunately. How many times haven't we seen something really cool happen and then there's no follow-up to that afterwards? I mean, look at the fact that we had Big E.
Hold on, that typically happens on Raw. That doesn't necessarily happen on SmackDown.
Okay. No. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, let's go back to Big E winning the Intercontinental Championship, right? Big moment, woohoo, right? Look at his match that he had tonight with Apollo Crews. Tell me, in this match, did he at all keep that momentum that he had when he when he became Intercontinental Champion?
I mean, he won the match, didn't he?
So you're telling me that as long as you get the win, that's it? You're impressive? I don't think so. You got to have a good showcase in there. And there wasn't a good showcase for him whatsoever.
After the commercial break, what are you talking about? He beat Apollo's ass.
It doesn't matter. The match itself was not what it needed to be for him to look as a strong champion. He didn't come across as a strong champion to me tonight. And that was very unfortunate because it should have come out looking like a strong champion. Apollo Crews is at a different level of a challenger. Big E should have came out looking stronger in this match to really keep that momentum as the Intercontinental Champion. So that's what I'm saying is that one moment you can have that big hoorah moment. And then all of a sudden it's completely stripped away. And that's why I don't have hope that we're going to go back and touch base on the Shinsuke Nakamura thing, because we've seen examples of this in the past when we don't get that moment back,
I get what you're saying. And I didn't have a problem with Big E's matchup tonight because I thought it was important for Apollo Crews to also come off looking pretty good in that matchup. And I believe he did. The weird double pin thing, I wasn't thrilled with that, but after the commercial break, they were trying to get cute, something to keep people through the commercial break. All right, that's why they did that, and it worked. Everybody was like, well, what the hell is going on here? Did Apollo really just win the Intercontinental Championship? And then they keep us through the commercial break. We come back. Big E's all like, hey, let's shake hands, whatever. We'll meet again. He gets slapped in the face, which, by the way, Apollo Crews has like the best slap in the business. Can we at least give him that? And then that was like a trigger. It was like a trigger for Big E. And then he just laid into the guy. And afterwards, they were cooking with gas from that point on. I thought it was, from the midway point on, it was a very strong showcase for Big E tonight.
I think it could have been a million times better for him.
Oh, it could have been better. Yeah, it could have been better. But I mean, let's not act like he got. Let's not act like this was a.
It wasn't that great, Rick. I watched the match. It was not that great for him. No.
Let's not act like this was Sami Zayn crawling under the ring to get a countout victory for the 1800th time. Okay, it wasn't that.
Well, of course it wasn't that.
They were trying to make Apollo Crews look strong again in this same matchup, because we haven't seen Apollo Crews since pretty much he lost the United States Championship to Bobby Lashley.
Yes, I understand that, but this is essentially right now what we're working towards is trying to build up Big E. The guy is finally getting his moment. Finally. Let him have that moment.
Daniel says, I thought Apollo was going to turn heel. I think he kind of did tonight, especially with that slap. I wouldn't be surprised if those two end up getting back into it again. Ruth kind of agrees with you. Thought the Big E match was kind of boring tonight. Ryan, we will get to this. What happened to the Street Profits tonight? I think this is something that me and Denise will probably agree with or disagree with. Kishin says, Denise, everything cannot be so predictable. I wanted Apollo to win just because I knew Big E would. I don't want Big E to lose that Intercontinental Championship.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no. That's like,
here's the thing. Predictability isn't bad if it's done in a good way.
Yes.
This is the problem, that sometimes people think that because it's predictable, don't go that route. And then that's why we get some crazy ass, no interest things that happen, right? Because people decide, oh, predictability is not good. I think if something is predictable, that's fine. And he just won the championship. And as much as Apollo Crews is incredibly talented, he's not at the level right now that Big E's at.
No, you're 100% right on that. It could have been better, but I don't think it was as bad as what you're making it out to be. Rahul says, Adam Pearce, what are they trying to do? I don't know what they're trying to do. They told a story tonight. I liked the story. Denise didn't like the story. Why have Shinsuke beat 3 men clean for nothing? What is the point of this? Again, my hope is, and yes, Denise, you are right, that they have done things and then have not gone back and revisited them whatsoever. My hope is this isn't pointless tonight. My hope is this is them finally waking up, realizing, hey, maybe we should do something with Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe they're trying to re-sign him. Maybe he's one of the guys who reportedly turned down a contract offer and went, okay, well, maybe we need to start doing something with him to make this guy happy. Total speculation on my part, but they haven't been doing anything with him.
I don't think this would change my mind if I was him.
But if this is the start. Denise, if this is the start of something, all right? Everybody wants everything right now. In some circumstances, you have to be patient with things.
How much more patient can we be with Shinsuke Nakamura? I mean, I think we're way past our expiration point.
I think this is going to pay off better in the long run by not hot-shotting him a number 1 contendership. I just think...
Okay, but let's hot-shot Adam Pearce. Okay.
Adam Pearce is part of the storyline, Denise. He's part of the storyline. Shinsuke Nakamura is a random entrant into this.
So what? He had a great showcase tonight.
Yes,
Let that be exciting. Let it be something new, something fresh. This is what the fans have been wanting, something new, something fresh, and it's not the Adam Pearce thing.
Yeah, Adam Pearce is pretty dang new. Guy hasn't wrestled in 6 years. This is something we haven't seen in quite some time. I'm intrigued by this. All right, I am. I want to see where this is going to go.
I don't. You know what? By all means, I hope that next week my mind is changed. I hope that in 2 weeks my mind is changed. I don't mind changing my mind. But right now, now that I got this great, wonderful tease of what could have been, it's depressing.
Paul, Daniel Bryan got screwed. No one wants to see Pierce versus Reigns. Thought Shinsuke did amazing. It was Bryan's turn to shine. Look, Daniel Bryan, to his credit, is on a mission to put other people over and to help showcase guys he thinks are being underutilized. Like there's, and I believe Daniel Bryan is part of the creative team on SmackDown. So maybe Daniel Bryan came up with the whole ending tonight, Denise. What? Maybe this
Actually,
was
Daniel Bryan was pushing for more NXT talent to come up.
I know. He's pushing for more NXT talent to come up. But yes, he tried to put over Drew Gulak when they were together. He put Sami Zayn over at WrestleMania. So that's kind of what Daniel Bryan's goal is on this last run, is to try and elevate other people as possible. Daniel Bryan knows how good Shinsuke Nakamura is. So yeah, when it was Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura at this point, I was sold. I knew Nakamura was going to end up winning that matchup. I knew Daniel Bryan would want to put him over. I didn't think Nakamura was going to beat Rey Mysterio. I didn't think he was going to beat King Corbin. But by the time that he did wind up beating both of those guys, I knew he was going to go over on Daniel Bryan. That's his mission right now. I think Daniel Bryan will get that last ride off into the sun. Like when he's ready to kind of like walk away. I think he said he's pretty much done as a full-time performer. This is his last ride as a full-time performer. He'll get one more shot, one more run with the title. I truly believe that, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I don't peg him to be the one that's going to knock off Roman Reigns if they do end up fighting at WrestleMania.
Right. And I know that everybody's obviously like, he's one of the top picks to win the Rumble, etc. So, I mean, I trust Daniel Bryan with what he does.
Lori says Bloodline is kicking butt. Look, I'm intrigued by everything that Roman Reigns does. Every week, he's arguably the best character on television right now. Danny says, I'm curious what they're going to do with Shinsuke Nakamura. I am too. Again, this is something that's going to keep me interested into next week, much like something else that we saw, Denise, because if we spend too much time on this, we'll encompass the whole hour here, and we do have a lot more to get into. We can tie this off into Adam Pearce though, because apparently he has a new assistant or something. I don't know where they're going.
Make it clear.
Yeah, they didn't really make it clear, but it appears now that Sonya Deville is there in some kind of managerial capacity, helping Adam Pearce on SmackDown. She noted that he was, going back and forth between Raw and SmackDown, and he desperately needed some help. I still haven't quite made up my mind yet, so maybe you can help me figure this out, how I feel about it. How are you feeling about Sonya Deville showing up, looking damn good in a blue suit? She rocks a suit better than any of the guys on the show. How do you feel about her now being an authority figure?
Well, I don't think it's going to last long. I think this will obviously lead back into her, getting back into the ring. If I'm correct, I think they might be doing this because she still has to do those court appearances. So yeah. I don't know what her schedule is looking like. And if this is, obviously the reason as to that, it really makes me just really angry that some, crazy person had to like go and take time off of her, work and her career. But anyways, another story for another time. But honestly, though, I didn't mind this whatsoever because I kind of just saw what they're going, and I don't see this as like she's not going to end up being an assistant and a GM for like a whole year or something like that. No, I think this is just going to be this little transition into her coming back. But what I did tweet out was that poor Billie Kay, the girl was out there with her resume trying to get a job with Pearce in the past, and he even put that tweet out that gave us a little tease, and then Sonya Deville comes in, may I add, no resume, and poor Billie Kay gets outshined for this position. That is just pretty damn sad.
I don't think like Billie Kay even knew that there was a job available. Like none of us knew that there was an actual job available.
She tried to get a job. Remember she was like a couple weeks ago?
She's literally been trying to get anything. She's been handing out resumes. And you know what? Here's the thing. One resume is enough. I think where Billie Kay failed is by giving him stacks and stacks and stacks of resumes. I think that was the problem.
She took initiative, Rick. Poor girl. She took initiative.
We'll talk to Billie. We'll talk about Billie Kay. I'd love to talk to Billie Kay, but we'll talk about Billie Kay coming up here in a little bit. Rob brings up a good point here. Sonya entered Adam in the gauntlet match behind his back. Remember, she had that little exchange there with him where she said, well, you put yourself in this gauntlet match. And he's like, well, I don't want to be in this gauntlet match. And then all of a sudden, here comes Paul Heyman who says, hey, yeah, I pulled some strings and I got you in that gauntlet match. Maybe that was Sonya's first move. Maybe this is because Sonya kind of came off as a baby face tonight, which was something that I kind of wanted to see. But maybe now she's working her way into that managerial role. Maybe this is her subtle hostile takeover of the WWE. Maybe she is trying to infiltrate her way into management so she can give herself all the things she thinks she has earned over these last few years. Maybe this is
I can see that.
By Sonya Deville. I would be all on board with that.
Hey, do you think it was a shot or like kind of a nod when she said, "Let's bring back legends"?
No, the shot was Mandy Rose in a random tag team. That was the shot. That was a line that hit right here. It spoke to my heart. I applauded when she said that. I was like, yes, that made no sense whatsoever. That was like Ali on Raw Talk this week, taking all the shot at the legends and the legend booking and the Goldberg booking and everything like that. I shouldn't bring up Goldberg. We'll get into a completely different argument. But that was a shot. That was the shot at the whole legend stuff. Maybe it was kind of a shot, but to me, the whole, yeah, I know. And I lost to my best friend in a loser leaves WWE match. And then she goes over to Raw and they throw her in a random tag team. That was a little dig at least WWE is very self-aware because they do take these jabs. I wish they would fix their creative and booking problems, but at least they're self-aware. They have their problems, Denise, and sometimes they'll poke themselves with a stick sometimes.
Yeah. There was the other one, even when Roman, remember when he said, like, when he was doing the thing with Drew, when he told him, like, oh, like, this is the show that matters. I forgot what the actual line was, but there was a bunch of shots at Raw during that segment.
Yeah, nobody watches Raw. And then I think
that's what it was. Yeah.
Nobody watches Raw. And then I think like 2 weeks after that, they had that 1.5 mil.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, this week they were up over 2. It's amazing what happens when you don't have to go up against Monday Night Football.
That's true.
People don't think about that. That Monday Night Football crowd pulls a lot.
Oh yeah. Because
from their rating.
When it comes down to it, like, let's say you're a football fan and a wrestling fan. From like people that I know that are both fans of both, they always choose to watch the football game. And then, hey, I'll DVR and watch Raw.
Not always.
For the people I know.
Well, okay, like for example, like I cover wrestling, so I have to watch Raw and SmackDown.
I'm talking about like regular people that don't have to cover it.
Right, but here's the thing. When I was on, my paternity leave, my Bengals were on Monday Night Football playing the Steelers, and I watched Raw until I found out the Bengals were up to like 17-0, and then I tuned in. Then I tuned into the game.
No, Rick. No, I can't even fit that in my brain. If I'm not a big sports fan. I'm just there. I go for the food. But if my team is playing, you bet your butt I'm going to be watching my team playing. I will watch Raw later on. Yeah,
but if your team, you're not a Cincinnati sports fan. You don't know what it's like over here.
It doesn't matter. If you represent a team, you're with them when you're down, when they're down, when they're up, when they're, worse than the worst. And I know this. And I'll tell you why I know this later on, but I know this.
Yeah. There's a big difference though. When your team has 2 wins, you're on your 3rd string quarterback and you haven't beaten the Steelers in 7 years. I didn't feel comfortable watching that beatdown, but I watched every second of it while they were up throughout the entirety of that second half, and I enjoyed it. And then I went back and I watched the first half as well. Again, you guys are, how about them Bengals? 5th overall pick, Ozzy. Don't worry, we'll be fine. Joe Burrow's going to come back. Everything will be good. Let's see, trying to find out. Seth, we really got into this early on today.
Seth needs to rewind because we got into this.
Let's just say Denise ain't feeling it, and I think she's wrong.
Hold on, let's see, this is what happens. We need to switch roles here because every time I'm in this co-host position, this always happens to me. I never get a second to say what I need to say, so I need to say what you just said. We don't agree, but Rick is wrong.
See, and that's the thing. Everybody, that's the great thing. This show would be boring if we just agreed on everything all the time.
That's very true, actually. I've said that a million times. It'd be terrible. Hey, Rick, I like this match. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Awesome. The next match was good too. Yeah, it was.
That was good stuff. Every show would be 20 minutes long. And we'd have like 8 viewers. We appreciate the 70, and it would be our family. Appreciate the 72.
My family wouldn't watch.
My family hates wrestling too. We appreciate the 72 people who have followed and all those who have engaged with us. Make sure to give us the old thumbs up there, the like there. It really helps grow our audience, the more engagements that we have. And please make sure to get your comments in. I'm actually doing a pretty good job of getting a lot of comments into the chat here. It's hard for me to hey, there we go. Lori on my side. I really, really appreciate it. But there you go, Denise. Michael says Denise makes a lot of sense. So it's a split audience.
Rick,
split audience.
Rick, if we learned anything this week, is that there's crazy people out there that believe in crazy stuff. Okay. If this week has taught us anything, it's that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into this one. Because I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I don't want to butcher it. But what do you feel about Rude and Ziggler winning the tag team championships?
Abbas Jayora. I think that's how you pronounce the name.
Whatever you get, whatever. Go for it. What do you think, Denise, about?
Who should go first, me or you?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I think we're going to disagree on this one.
Okay, so you know that was not necessarily the biggest, fan of Rude and Ziggler, right?
Yeah.
But here's the but, that I think them winning is actually something good, only because I think that at the end of the day, they're going to be this workhorse tag team. They're going to have good matches with whomever they are in a match with. And Street Profits, we're starting to get, unfortunately, because of the tag team division and the fact that there isn't much, really happening there, they were starting to get stale as tag team champions. And the fact that now they're not champions, it'll give them something new. Hey, go after those belts again. Do the chase. There's money in the chase all the time. So I'm actually seeing this as the pros. Am I crazy about it? No. But at the same time, I think that it's new. It surprised me. Okay.
Honestly, I didn't care who won this match. Seriously. No. By the end of the match, like the last when
I'm sorry, that was my favorite Rick moment ever. I don't care.
No. I didn't care who won. I would have been ecstatic no matter who won because this match was so good. This match was incredibly good tonight. This was probably the Street Profits' best match that they've had in their 10-month reign outside when they fought the New Day. Okay, this was absolutely phenomenal, and there was great storytelling in this match. Again, I'm big on storytelling, and them losing tonight, the Street Profits losing tonight, I think was something that had to happen. Not so much because they'd had the belts for 10 months and it was just time to take them off of them, but Ziggler and Rude have had so many opportunities. They had shots at the Raw tag team titles before they moved over. Then they had another shot at the SmackDown tag team titles and they lost them. And now they're getting another opportunity. It's like, if they didn't win tonight, they had no value as a tag team moving forward. None on SmackDown. And if you look at the state of the tag team division, you need tag teams that have value. Obviously, the Street Profits have a ton of equity based off of what they've done over these last 10 months and since what they've done since they've been called up. The Street Profits will be fine, and I'm willing to bet they're going to get their hands on those tag team championships at some point here in the near future again. But this was more about Ziggler and Rude tonight. I thought they looked very, very good as a tag team. I think they work well with one another. This new, I don't know whatever you want to call it, this dirty dog edge or whatever they've adopted for themselves. It works really well for them. They really sold Montez Ford's leg injury from last week. So really, they set it up so where they won the tag team titles last week. When they went to the commercial break, I was honestly expecting Montez to have been taken to the back. And it was going to have to be Angelo Dawkins against the two of them. And that's how this matchup would end. But I didn't mind it how they did it either, because Montez Ford looked tremendous in defeat, still working that leg and still doing everything that he could. And it took, a bunch of cheap shots and I forget what they call it, but the back knee shot there at the end, the chop block at the end. And then they got the finisher there, but that double finisher that they have is really, really neat too. So yeah, this was something that needed to happen to build Ziggler and Rude to make them have value on SmackDown, because you don't have a lot of tag teams on SmackDown right now, especially with the Usos still out. So just to keep something moving and to keep it fresh and to keep something different, Yeah, Ziggler and Rude had to win this matchup tonight, and the Street Profits didn't look bad at all in defeat.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. We were just talking smack about not having to agree, and here I am. I agree with you on that.
Dynamite drop in there,
really
Denise. Dynamite drop in there, Denise.
I'm sorry. I even felt bad. I was like, man, I have nothing else to add other than he said it all.
Nothing to add at all. Let's see. Wait a minute. Hold on. More important, Rude and Ziggler being dressed kind of like Billy and Chuck.
I didn't notice that. Really? No.
No, they weren't wearing the hot pink. Come on, man. What are you talking about?
Rick, you look so good to me.
Oh my gosh. Well,
that's like one of my favorite songs.
That's it, guys. Show's over. We're done. Joseph Boza, there are teams from NXT that could help out with the tag team division on both brands. Undisputed Era. I wholeheartedly agree, and it's not just both brands; it's both tag divisions.
Yes,
it's both tag divisions, because as thin as the men's tag team divisions are on both shows, the women's tag team division is just thin. Period, because they haven't been taking those championships to NXT. I would love to see Charlotte and Asuka wind up on NXT and defending them. Whoever wins the Dusty Classic, right? They announced this week that there's going to be the women's Dusty Tag Team Classic. Whoever wins that needs to get a shot at the tag team titles, and I would hope
100%.
that they would win. They're just not utilizing. They have so much talent at NXT. They're not bringing any of them up. The tag team championships, like that's a golden ticket. You can do whatever you want on whatever brand you want with those titles because they're floating. They could be doing so much more with them. Same thing, honestly, with the Riot Squad as well. I'm surprised that I'm trying to think of all the matches that we needed to talk about tonight, Denise, and I think we already hit them all. There was only
really? Let me see. Apollo Biggie, Rudolph, the Rudolph match. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. Gauntlet match. We went through all of that. Yeah, we argued a lot, and that's it.
Matches.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Well, the gauntlet, but yeah, no, we talked about everything.
I know, that's weird.
So, how was your day?
Paul, no female wrestling tonight. Yeah, there wasn't.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Carmella segment.
Yeah, exactly. I had notes on the backstage segments. I was just talking about the matches.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, but
do your thing.
So again, I thought the wrestling tonight was absolutely tremendous. I'm on board with the storytelling that they're doing tonight. I think you're looking now at Big E and Apollo. They're going to continue doing their thing. Or maybe Big E comes out next week and does another open challenge because Sami Zayn is still out there. I would think that would be one of the big knocks for me tonight, though, was Sami Zayn losing in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. It was so funny because I posted my little booking idea for the Sami Zayn thing, right? I tweeted that out. I was so proud of it. People were liking and retweeting. I was like, I had a good idea. Yay. Woohoo. 10 seconds later, that idea was shut down, buried, not even 6 feet under, 13 feet under in the ground. They built a building on top. That thing did not age well whatsoever. I was proud at my hopes, my ideas, but they did not come to fruition whatsoever.
Yeah, they look, I love Sami Zayn. This character that he's doing, it works. He's really put all of his efforts into it, and I think it's a character that's getting over with the audience. But I wish they would just put some stock into his wrestling ability because we just don't get to see it very often. Like that ladder match that he had when he won back his Intercontinental Championship, in part was so good because we got to see Sami Zayn, the wrestler, and not just Sami Zayn, the character. It's not like they're trying to, I don't know if they're just trying to protect wear and tear on his body because he's had so many injuries over the years with his shoulders. There could be a backstage reason for it, but we know that we can get so much more out of Sami Zayn. And I just hate that dumb, he's not a babyface, but that dumb babyface syndrome, where he's talking to his conspiracy theory camera crews, making sure that they're rolling or doing this stuff. Didn't hear the bell, and then all of a sudden Ray hits him with a drop kick, hits him with the 619, hits him with a splash, and it's over. And he spent more time talking on the microphone than we got to see Sami Zayn in the ring. That just robs the audience of us getting to watch Sami Zayn be masterful in the ring, which we know he can be. And I want to see more of that. He can still be this character, but he can also be a good wrestler, Denise.
I completely agree with you on that. And I did like the documentary idea. It's something that a Sami Zayn type would do. I thought it was pretty funny. I even tweeted out, it was like Billy Kay should have been hired to be like the cameraman. Like, how hilarious. Like, think of the pop that you like would have done. Like, all of a sudden Billy Kay coming out in the back holding this big old camera. That would have been pretty funny. But seriously though, I do think that match I think they need to put more respect to the Sami Zayn name. You know, you'd mentioned this like dumb, character going around and always getting, and like everything that he does ends up going up against him. Like, it doesn't work out for him, right? It should start working out for him, Make him at least be like smarter than what he's being portrayed as. And also, agreed with you on the sense of they need to give him more opportunities with the in-ring work. I mean, that ladder match, that triple threat ladder match made it onto my top 5 favorite matches of last year because it was a really good match. And obviously we already know what Sami Zayn's wrestling abilities are. And you know that he could put on great matches inside the ring. It's really no question about it. But I just think that right now they're sort of using him in this very, very goofy, role, and they don't necessarily have to do that. He can do the comedy and also be respected in the ring. And a perfect example of that is Kurt Angle. He was somebody that did the comedy, but went in the ring and you knew he was going to kill a guy. Yeah,
absolutely. Wholeheartedly agree with that. The Sami Zayn, I'm smarter, I'm smarter than you, therefore I'm better than you character. It was working while he was the Intercontinental Champion, and now he doesn't have the championship anymore. And now it's just not working for him anymore. This tonight, I wanted to see more out of Sami Zayn, but again, that gauntlet match was more booked for Shinsuke Nakamura, and then obviously, Adam Pearce at the end, which we've talked about that ad nauseum. One thing though that kind of has completely disappeared, Denise, did you notice who wasn't with Rey Mysterio tonight?
Oh yes, Aaliyah
and Murphy are just gone. Poof.
Maybe they're like...
That was like the biggest storyline.
When's the last time we saw them?
I think before Seth Rollins left. Like Murphy went over on Seth Rollins like the Friday before SummerSlam or Survivor Series, excuse me. So we're talking November, the last week in November.
They took the holidays off, went on a lover's vacation.
I mean, I
don't know.
Because they did kind of go back to the King Corbin angle with Rey Mysterio, so there was obviously a setup there. So maybe we had seen them at some point in December, but Murphy just doesn't exist anymore. He gets that big win over Seth Rollins, and there you go, Denise. Like you brought up earlier, they haven't followed up on it.
Yeah, there you go, another example. And there's like a million more that we're probably not thinking of right now. And yeah, that's unfortunate. But honestly, I forgot about that. And even Dom, when are we going to start seeing him in matches again?
Exactly.
He's just going to be the fashion boy on the side. Like, what's happening here?
And that's another reason why I like Ziggler and Rude winning the tag team championships, is because I think that there's no reason now why the Mysterio shouldn't be facing them for the tag team titles.
Right.
You have a baby face father and son tag team. Use them. We haven't seen. Yeah, Dominic got all this praise last year for as good as he was. I'm sure he's still training, obviously at the Performance Center or what have you. Maybe they think he needs some more training to be better to improve. I mean, Seth Rollins could wrestle with a broom. So that was that was a good
first match moment. Was at SummerSlam. So yeah, like he does need more work.
They obviously have some faith in him, but I mean, he wrestled in that cross-brand battle royal at Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. Like what? He came in the finals. Like it was him and The Miz, basically. Yeah, and he doesn't wrestle anymore. Like the role should be reversed there. Ray should be accompanying Dominic down to the ring and helping him further his career, not Dominic following Ray down for another number one contenders match that Rey Mysterio, wasn't going to win. Would there have been any harm in putting Dominic in this match tonight instead of Rey?
See, I'd rather see Rey Mysterio in the match. I think that they can do like an alternative, like, have him wrestle some weeks, have Rey wrestle another week, then have them team another week. I mean, they can really mix it up. It doesn't have to be like permanent status for whatever they're doing, But in this case, I would have preferred. I'm good with Rey.
Here's the thing, though. How much better would that opening segment have been with Sami Zayn if he was fighting Dominic and Dominic was the one that got over on Sami Zayn? That would have been like, okay.
Giving him a lot of stock to Dominic, and he needs that because he doesn't have anything riding for him right now.
Exactly.
Going for him right now.
Rey Mysterio beating Sami Zayn by a distraction doesn't mean a whole lot for Rey Mysterio. That would have meant a lot more for Dominic. And then Dominic could have gotten in the ring with a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura. He still could have lost, but he still could have put on a good show. I think that would have been a better way of going about this. Obviously, Rey Mysterio has the star power, but you want to start building up Dominic. We haven't seen him in the ring very much. We haven't seen Murphy in the ring very much. I just have a feeling. That as soon as Seth Rollins does come back, all of a sudden Murphy will be back, Aaliyah will be back, and they're just going to pick up on that storyline that was supposedly dead and gone whenever Seth Rollins does come back.
Well, Valentine's is coming up. Just FYI, like in a month or so. I can see that circling back around that time.
And here's the other thing. There's always a chance that they just requested time off. I mean, that could always be the thing. It was the holidays. Maybe, like you said, they just wanted to go off and they're in love. Maybe they went to Paris or something like that, because traveling across the world in a pandemic is a good thing to do.
Hey, some people have been doing it. I don't know how, but they've been doing it.
Let's see. Ryan wants to know why Braun Strowman hasn't been showing up on SmackDown. That would be because he is a Raw superstar now, and he is also injured. So that is why. Hey, again, sometimes
I forgot about Braun Strowman. My brain was like a clear palette right now.
I lose track. I lose track of who's on what brand from time to time, especially when people are taking time off. Where was Otis tonight? He was a reference character. Otis was brought up by Sonya Deville after the tag team match when she said, all right, well, where do we go next? Do we do, Otis and did she say Daniel Bryan or she said Chad Gable? She said Otis and Chad Gable. I don't remember. So maybe they go that route with the tag team championships. I wouldn't be surprised if the Street Profits take some time off. They sell the injury. I wouldn't be surprised.
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
Give them a little refresher. Like I said, they were starting to feel a little stale. So maybe.
You know what this does open up, though? We could see some Street Profit action in the Royal Rumble. Now, Montez Ford in the Royal Rumble would be a lot of fun.
Oh, hells yeah.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. Now, I'm trying to go back and find them, but Denise, somebody up here asked us about the Royal Rumble. And, here we go. Ruth asking, do we think the EST will win the Royal Rumble? Bianca Belair and Bayley both. They had an entertaining exchange backstage tonight, both declaring for the Royal Rumble. This is something we've talked about and something we're going to continue to talk about all the way up until Rumble night.
I'm writing down my pick.
Writing down your pick right now?
Yes.
You have it?
Yes. For the women's? Yes.
Yes.
Here we go. Are we ready? Cue me in.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is who has to win.
Has to win.
Royal Rumble. Has 113% has to win, or I will riot. I will riot for
Riot.
I will riot for Rhea Ripley.
Okay, explain.
What do you mean explain? I have to explain this? What explanation is there?
Why does it have to be Rhea Ripley? That's what I'm saying.
Because I would love to see Rhea Ripley win the Royal Rumble, and because she's a freaking star. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse on the air, but it was appropriate because Rhea Ripley needs to win.
In what world do you think frickin' is a swear word?
I got in trouble for another word before. I don't remember what I said last time. And you called me out on it.
Afterwards?
Way less than frickin'.
Yeah, we're a PG show. We're not allowed to swear on this one. Dale says he wants Rhea or Bianca Belair. Rhea Ripley going to the main roster. Yeah, that is the rumor that she is going to be brought up soon. I love that you just have the Post-it note on your face.
Yes.
We can see it. We can see it plain as day.
Thank you. Just want to make sure you guys can see it.
Look, I think there's a lot of good options. I think Rhea winning would be a great option, especially if she eliminates Charlotte to win it. That would be poetic. That would be almost some justice there. I think if Rhea wins, you almost have to do her and Charlotte in a rematch at WrestleMania with her winning the title off of Charlotte.
Exactly. So at some point, Charlotte should get that title and defend it against Rhea Ripley for sure. That's exactly what I think. I know that's what I want, and I know I've seen the chatter around the world. Around the world, I've seen the chatter, and other people would like that too. So it's not too far fetched.
If Charlotte won the belt, maybe in like the Elimination Chamber or something like that, I think I could get behind that. But I don't care how she gets it, as long as it ends up in. I understand.
Rhea Ripley's
man, are we really going to take another women's championship off of Asuka right before WrestleMania? Again, and Charlotte again. Are we going to do that again, Asuka?
A year ago, I would have argued this, but unfortunately, I wouldn't have wanted this. But unfortunately, poor Asuka hasn't been treated like a proper champion. So at this point, you got to get it on somebody else. You got to make that belt mean something, because they're not doing anything with Asuka on it, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, they've kind of quietly retired the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah, there's been certain segments where she didn't even have the belt with her.
She has been, and I love this great SmackDown analogy or analysis that we're doing right now. But she has been just like a secondary character. She hasn't had her own marquee feud since she won it from Sasha Banks. The only two people I think she's defended the championship against are Lana and Zelina Vega.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not necessarily something that's going to raise you and make you be like, oh my God, it was amazing. And earlier this year, she was pulling double duty. She was having, double matches on pay-per-view. Sorry, not early this year, early last year. Excuse me, I'm on the wrong year. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like, she started off good, but unfortunately, like you said, they made her a secondary character to this tag team divisions. They made the tag team bouts, the it bouts. They forgot about the women's championship. I mean, it's sad.
I mean, if you really stop and think about it, from Survivor Series, from SummerSlam on, the top women's storyline on Raw was not built around Asuka. It was built around Lana. That was the top women's storyline. It was built around Lana, Nia, and Shayna. And they brought Asuka into it as a secondary character.
As a cheerleader character.
And then when they were finally getting to the payoff, they pull Lana, they put in Charlotte, and now we have Charlotte and Asuka as the tag team champions, and we still are nowhere closer. They haven't even hinted at Asuka defending that women's championship at the Royal Rumble. Like, no. They did this to Becky last year, where it was Survivor Series and then TLC, and then she hadn't defended it because they put her and Charlotte in the tag team title match. And then her next title defense was at the Royal Rumble against Asuka. And people were actively dogging Becky Lynch because she never defended the championship. That's not on her. This is WWE booking. For whatever reason, they're doing it 2 years in a row now, but it's almost 10 times worse with what they're doing on Asuka. And there's it's not like they don't have options over on Raw. But let's see. Ryan says predict winners for the Royal Rumble match. Denise obviously says it needs to be Rhea Ripley that wins. Until tonight, I would have put money on Sonya Deville, but it clearly seems like they're going to slow play her in-ring return. So right now I'm going to go with Bianca Belair eliminating Bayley in the last go round to get that championship match against Sasha Banks. That's my prediction. For the men, I don't have a clue right now. I genuinely don't have a clue. Maybe Edge.
I have a clue. This is the one I've been saying on every podcast, so I kind of have to stick with it. I can't change the answer anymore. I was on a radio show and they were like, you can't change your answer. And I was like, I can't change my answer now.
Was this the San Antonio? Really interesting. Why are you going with Damian
change my answer? Because I would like to see him win and it would be nice.
I mean, it definitely appeared that he was written off of NXT. Again, there are those rumors that he is possibly coming up. Man,
I'm going to break out from having all these Post-its on my forehead. So if you see me next week with a giant pimple on my forehead, it's going to be thanks to these Post-its.
All right. And by the way, guys, I'm going to stop. Look, it was funny for the first couple of weeks, but please, in the chat, stop reminding me of Lars Sullivan's existence. All right, let's just stop doing it. Like, it's not.
Rick, it's because everybody knows you love
Lars. Lars is not going to win the Royal Rumble. It's not going to happen. Please do not put that juju on me.
I hate Lars Sullivan. I'm not a fan of Lars Sullivan, but I would pop just because your reaction would be priceless. I would pop just for you.
Denise, if that happens, we are doing like, I know you do like a post pay-per-view on Instinct Culture.
I do.
Yeah. If that happens, I am your emergency guest that evening. All right. I'm booking myself on your show if that happens.
Hey, I'm the Adam Pearce of my show,
I'm going to book myself if that happens, or if Goldberg beats Drew McIntyre. Like, that's because I'm going to need somewhere to just scream.
Are you going to go? You're just going to go mental. You're going to go psycho. You don't let it all out, your emotions.
If they do that Goldberg booking one more time to a third superstar in their prime, enjoying a good title reign. Yeah.
But hold on, Rick. Before we get anywhere, I never said I wanted Goldberg to win, okay? I like Goldberg, and people just thought, oh, she likes Goldberg. She wants him to win. She wants him to be number one. No, hold the phone there. Hold your horses. I like Goldberg. I do not want him to win and defeat Drew McIntyre. I'm not a psycho, okay? Like, let's be real.
That's debatable in certain circles, but...
Hey. That is debatable in pretty some circles.
We got a Keith Lee pick for the Royal Rumble. I could get behind that, but I think Keith Lee, after losing to Drew clean this week, is kind of out of it for a while. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going to not have a great showing. This is a guy who could come in and just clean house in the Royal Rumble and still, wind up getting beat.
I just don't think Vince is that high on him, so I don't see it for Keith Lee, unfortunately. It'd be nice, but I just don't see it.
And that would be a shame, because that would be another NXT superstar who was literally brought up at the top of the mountain. Like, dude was peak. He was the it thing. They bring him up. He beats Randy Orton, and then.
I know. I feel bad for Keith Lee. He had some ups and some downs. I mean, he was double champion on NXT. Then he gave up one belt. Then he gets moved to the main roster. Then we know what happens then.
I think the good thing is, though, that both of these Royal Rumbles appear to be wide open. Like, I don't see a slam dunk favorite in either match, at least right now. I don't get that vibe. And that to me makes the Royal Rumble better. Like, part of the reason why Seth Rollins' win in the Royal Rumble was so lackluster is because I think he was just the overwhelming favorite. Like, even as the match progressed, and you saw the people in the ring, like, you knew Seth was going to win that Royal Rumble. When it's obvious, when there is that key obvious favorite, yeah, it kind of hinders it. But it's wide open, and I definitely think both winners need to be somebody who hasn't won it before. Like, if they go out and they have Charlotte win the Royal Rumble again, I'm going to rage, just because, again, that would just be like the ultimate sign that they're still not ready to push anybody up to the top other than the same 5 that they've been pushing for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, other than the Drew McIntyre one, which we've talked about, and when we did our Scammy Awards, that the Rumble was literally the Rumble in which he won last year was one of the best booked Rumbles. And even though it was not predictable, but it was, he was a pick that the majority of people wanted, the person that we all expected. And when he won, it was still fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy Uso not showing up tonight on SmackDown. Not cleared to return yet. Maybe they're waiting. That would have been the thing that I would have liked to have seen if the Street Profits would have won tonight. I mean, Ziggler and Rude would have been useless at that point, but at some point we got to get the Profits and the Usos, right? But that's also a matchup we don't necessarily need the tag team titles involved in. That's just let those two teams, go at one another. Eventually, Jimmy will be back, and then the bloodline will be complete. A lot of people talking about in the chat how Goldberg is old and needs to stay away. I don't necessarily even agree with that because, Denise, I'll give you your point to this. Goldberg is a draw. He 100% is a draw. Because WWE, they love to hit that 45 and older demo. I mean, he brings in eyes. He is a marquee star. And I'm not saying there isn't a place for Goldberg in WWE. I absolutely think there is a place for him in WWE. It's not challenging for world championships on major pay-per-views when maybe you could build up somebody else. I think that's not the spot for him. And that's when I get mad. It's not I'm mad at Bill Goldberg. I'm mad at WWE for putting Goldberg constantly in these marquee situations when other people could be getting those spots. Appreciate all the comments today, guys. Absolutely flooded them. I tried to get to as many of them as I could. Again, I love SmackDown tonight. Denise, I think next week you're going to see the light. Like something's going to happen with this Adam Pearce Roman Reigns storyline, and you're going to go, you know what, Rick? You were right. I guarantee you're going to say those words to me next week.
You know what? For our sake, for my sanity, for your sanity, I hope so. I hope that next week I have a change of heart, but not this week.
All right, guys, we appreciate everybody who commented. Don't forget to give us a little thumbs up or a heart or a frowny face or whatever. All the engagements really, really help grow our audience. We appreciate you guys as always, and we will be back next week talking about yet another edition of Friday Night SmackDown and possibly the soon-to-be Universal Champion Adam Pearce.
That's how you end it. Can I end the show today?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rick loves Lars Sullivan.
I hate you.
Oh, wait. I need to take a shot. Lars Sullivan, #1 fan. Rick Ucchino. Stamp it, promote it, brand it, put it on a t-shirt.
I quit.